Hello and welcome to another episode of Boomer Live. And of course, I hope you all are doing well. Just want to ask, how are we, chat? Everything all good because we are back to be talking about cricket again. So that is the exciting part because this is the season of sports, as I already mentioned in the last live. There's a lot of things happening across the world, not just in cricket and football and all the other areas. So Boomer 11 is one app you should be having on your mobile right now to have the predictor feature going, predict all what you feel in your mind. It's just not about talking to your friend and saying, bye, मेरे को लग रहा है ऐसा होगा, boomer alarm में आके ऐसा करना. You can get rewards for free, and also at the same time you can make your fantasy team for absolutely free of cost. So Boomer 11 is the app to go. But let's talk about the series which we have in our hand. It's India's road to 50 over World Cup. Now there's a World Cup happening every year. I've lost count of which World Cup it is, so before I put the title on, I just had to confirm it is a 50 over World Cup. And of course, the 50 over World Cup is going to take place in 8 months' time from now. And we are here building up for that. India's first, the warm up legs, of course. What I mean by warm up is the preparatory rounds in India with a major opposition starts tomorrow. It's Australia. India already won a season against Sri Lanka and New Zealand earlier this year. So this is a good challenge. Of course, a well oiled Australian team is coming to the Indian shores. And of course, tomorrow's one day starts off in Mumbai, where you will have Hardik Pandya leading India for the first time in one day internationals. And of course, you will be seeing some changes in the 11 as well because of injuries and miss outs. I have Sandeep Bani with me. Sandeep Bani, this is a year for World Cup. We often build up to a year of World Cup with a lot of anticipation. How do you see this ODI series to be a part of a preparatory round for Team India? Because you don't have a lot of one-day matches. You do, but at the same time, you don't have a lot of one-day matches against quality oppositions like Australia every now and then.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good test for India. Test as in to test their bench strength as well, because we know that a lot of players, quite a few players, will miss the series because of injury or they're taking rest. So I think it is a great chance to see what the bench consists of. And I think one of our uh, main reasons for success in the 2011 World Cup was the bench strength. So you had the likes of Suresh Raina, who was ready to come from the quarterfinals and win us games. So I think this is going to be a great test and also a great test for Hardik Pandya
Yeah,
as the captain, going to lead the Indian ODI side for the first time. It's going to be very interesting to see how he goes about it.
yeah,
He has been a good, very sort of a very proactive captain in T20s. So hopefully he'll bring it in the ODIs as well. And definitely, I think with New Zealand and Sri Lanka, the challenge was not really up to a point where India couldn't tackle it. And we saw two series where India absolutely dominated in the ODIs right after that series against Bangladesh. So we are a very strong force at home. So this is going to be interesting to see because the Australian team is quite strong.
yeah. I think I'm facing some issue with my camera. I'm just fixing that. But yeah, meanwhile, I think you can talk about the predicted 11, of course. I think that's something which a lot of people want to know. Uh, Firstly, no Rohit Sharma tomorrow. So, of course, Hardik Pandya leading India for the first time. What do you expect out of him in a one-day format? Because T20 is a different ball game, and in one-day format you need a lot more patience. You need to understand different phases of the game a lot more in intricacies in a one-day format in comparison with T20. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just a very good opportunity for Hardik Pandya at this point because since Rohit Sharma is the captain of the ODI side and this is the World Cup year, so India won't look to experiment too much. So I think this is the only few occasions where Hardik Pandya is going to captain India in the ODIs, and you never know with Rohit Sharma getting older and injury being a concern for Rohit Sharma as well. You never know. You need a replacement for Rohit Sharma as well for the World Cup. So
Hmm.
God forbid anything happens to Rohit Sharma right before the World Cup, India will not be in a panicky mode. They'll have the likes of Hardik Pandya to lead, and also with Kohli
Hmm.
in the team, that
Yeah.
is some settling. That will settle the nerves as well because team India has a lot of leadership candidates. You have the
Hmm.
likes of Shreyas Iyer in the long term. Obviously, he's going to miss out tomorrow. But you also have the likes of KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer in the team to sort of help Hardik Pandya if he needs so. And I think it will also be a very important series for KL Rahul because we saw he lost his position in the test matches. He lost his position from the T20I team. It is going to be interesting to see how he holds on to that position, even though it's a different
Hmm.
facet of the game altogether. He comes to bat in the middle order,
Hmm.
but you also have the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, who
Yeah.
probably will look to take full toll of this opportunity that he's getting, because Shreyas Iyer is going to miss it, and probably will also have a Ravindra Jadeja coming back into the ODI side as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of things to look up for, and that middle order, Indian middle order is up for grabs, because Rishabh Pant not being there, Shreyas Iyer not being a full 100% fit, and for the
Yeah.
remainder, I think he's going
I mean,
to
yeah, it makes
settle.
sense because you didn't mention about KL Rahul as a leadership candidate as well. But you reckon one possible place in Indian team where you can't really take away from KL Rahul is that position in the one day format, because he's been exceptional there. We have to give it to him there where he has done well. He's that's that one place where he's really owned that area, where he's really controlled things from the outset. And at the same time, you feel like, okay, you have to say KL Rahul has come of age, especially in that number five position in the one day format. We've had heaps of praise for him throughout our live sessions previously as well. How he's really owned and demanded that place over there, which is earned. Of course, it's not like you put him there. He's had so many failures like the T20 format. KL Rahul at number five in ODI is one thing which you really feel like is the most secured place right now for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and he should be very secured about his job as a number five batter for Team India in the ODIs as well. I think his position is not under threat currently in the ODI format. But just I'm saying that because Rishabh Pant is not going to play this year, most certainly, and also you won't have Shreyas Iyer for the next. I mean, for the next 3 games for sure. So there is
Hmm.
a good chance for Team India to sort of experiment in that middle order.
I think
Ideally,
that's a
yeah,
question which we'll take right now, right?
I
उड़े में
think I
experiment करना कि नहीं?
uh,
You reckon so? Because last year, especially when we went for the T20 World Cup, one bit of negative comments which people did give to Team India was, why are we experimenting a lot? Because we did have a lot of these teams, a lot of players in the big pool. But now at least you can zero in on 20 players and maybe you can shuffle around with them. Or maybe 16 players rather. Now you're zeroing in on the World Cup. So over experimentation also means you're not having the team playing together as a unit before leading into a World Cup, which you had in 2011 or which you had in 2013 before the Champions Trophy as well. Majorly, most of these players used to play together before a major tournament, which has been not the case in the recent past with Team India. At least now, you think tomorrow's lineup is going to be more or less the same lineup which will start on the first game which India plays in the World Cup, barring maybe a couple of changes with Shreyas Iyer and Rohit Sharma not being there, maybe Bumrah.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I totally agree with you on that. I think ideally I wouldn't love like to experiment right before a World Cup. I like to think keep things simple, and probably when we are only 3 or 4 months away from the World Cup, it's just about giving your players the ample amount of
Yeah,
opportunities and time to settle down so that they are ready for the World Cup. And I think it's a process. World Cup comes after every 4 years, so you have the
yeah,
team building process going on, and I think the team is more or less ready. You have the squad of 15 or 16. It's just to see that in case we have a day where some of our players are injured, whether the bench strength can come in and pull us through or not. And I think that is very important
mm,
to have in a World Cup. And I think that is why New Zealand is one of the most successful sides in ICC tournaments. They
yeah,
sail through the group stages because they have players. They don't have huge stars, so as to say, but they have players chipping in and
yeah.
contributing frequently. All the players chip in at once, and I think that is something India should look forward to.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be a very important facet as well. Let's go into one day series, which we have in our hand right now before we go into the World Cup. Of course, tomorrow's match is an interesting one because it's playing in Mumbai, shorter ground. There a lot to expect from it. So, what do you reckon the bowling attack is going to be? Because for me, at least, I reckon in looking at that attack, I personally see Kuldeep Yadav being a sure starter. Alongside it, maybe one player who I can really say might be given that preference is of course Ravindra Jadeja, and then then Mohammad Siraj, of course, the world number one ODI bowler, alongside maybe Umran Malik. Maybe that can be a possible goal, right? Umran Malik not getting that opportunity. Umran Malik should be given some bit of opportunity at least before that World Cup because he can be that X factor bowler who you can throw in the middle of things when the World Cup comes, and that's going to be very important, especially when you're going to be talking about a World Cup situation against teams. You need that wild card, and that I think is Umran Malik for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the bowling attack tomorrow, like you said, I think Kuldeep Yadav is a sure shot, is going to be a sure shot starter. So is Mohammad Siraj. And I also feel with Ravindra Jadeja coming in, India will also look to give Umran Malik and probably a Mohammad Shami a go, because you need three fast bowlers. I think this is going to be a good bowling attack if we have, say, Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Umran Malik, Kuldeep Yadav, and Ravindra Jadeja with Hardik Pandya doing the duty of a sixth bowling option. I think
Yeah.
that is going to be a very potent attack.
You again, I mean, that's where another question which comes in is Shardul Thakur in the team, because he adds that value at number eight, which you reckon is important in one day format to some extent, especially a batter who can come in and chip in with some runs towards the later end. And that in some of the games it becomes very important. Some of the games you really feel like that's of not a much need. And the Shardul Thakur, you can get a lot of these wickets which you don't expect. There is some bit of knack which he has, some bit of golden arm or whatever it is. He comes in and picks up a couple of wickets here and there, and he changes the course of the game. Now that is the biggest question, right? Would you want to go in with that extra bit of batting cushion, or would you want to go in with an all rounded bowling attack where you have Kuldeep Yadav coming in at number eight, then of course Siraj, Shami, and Umran?
See, with tomorrow, I think the middle order is not going to be very deep. So you'll probably have Surya Kumar Yadav at number four, Hardik Pandya at five, and probably Jadeja can even come in at number six. And then we can go in with five bowlers, and with Shardul Thakur at number seven itself. Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Sami, Umran Malik. But it's going to be interesting to see whether they go in with four pacers, because I think three pacers and Hardik Pandya will be enough for tomorrow. So if you have to pick Shardul Thakur, I agree with you on the point that Shardul Thakur is probably a right fit in this ODI team, because I think if there is one format that Shardul Thakur belongs to play in India, it is going to be the ODIs, because I think he's a much better player in ODIs than he is in T20 internationals or in Test matches. With when you have that luxury of bowling 10 overs, it can go either way for him sometimes with the economy, but he's a wicket taker. He has that golden arm, like you mentioned. So he can come in and chip in and pick up wickets in the middle overs. But I think right now with Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj opening the bowling for Team India, and Kuldeep Yadav and Umran Malik in the middle overs, I think they can probably even leave aside Shardul Thakur for the time being as well. He will be a third seaming option along with Umran Malik for me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because Umran Malik is still my preferred option for a lot of reasons. Primarily because he's still an unknown commodity. You need to play him more to make him get experience in international cricket. You can't really throw him right in the middle of the sea in a World Cup like situation and expect him to perform. That's definitely not going to work. Give him those opportunities against quality teams like Australia, because you're going to get these same conditions in the World Cup. It's not going to change a lot, and you want to put him in these tough situations because bowling in Mumbai for a fast bowler is never. It's gonna be good if you're especially bowling with a new ball, but with smaller boundaries towards the lateral and towards the middle overs, it's one area you really struggle to ball as well. So if you can perform in these kind of grounds, then it gives you immense confidence going into that 50 over World Cup. But now let's talk about another aspect of things as well, especially when we talk about India's batting order. We did already touch upon it. Surya Kumar Yadav, I still think he deserves a place in the one day format. I know numbers don't really suggest that he's just averaging 32 in one day internationals, which is so not like Surya Kumar Yadav, isn't it? Where do you reckon he's really losing the plot in the one day format? You reckon it's just that him taking one day format so differently from what he's playing in T20, because he still can play the T20 format game for Team India and benefit Team India in a big way.
Yeah, I think the problem with Surya Kumar Yadav in the ODIs, I think it's in the mindset right now, because uh, a player who is performing and excelling in T20 internationals, he's the best player in the world right now in T20 internationals, and suddenly you come to the ODIs and you see him struggle. I
Yeah.
think he rushes too much. He rushes into his innings a bit too much. He'll just have to give himself some more time. Having said that, you don't want to disrupt your natural game, having because for Surya Kumar Yadav, his natural intent of attacking and taking the attack on the bowlers, no matter what the situation is his key to success in the T20 internationals.
Yeah.
And if you take
Yeah.
that away from him, and if you ask him to sort of settle down and then sort of give it some more time in the ODIs, it might backfire. So I think for Surya Kumar Yadav, I think it's just a matter of time. You just need him to play his natural game. I won't change anything of Surya Kumar Yadav's batting right now, because you never know. If you just ask him to slow down a bit, then probably his mindset and intent, it will affect the T20 internationals as well. And I
Hmm.
think you should give your top batter in one of the formats the freedom to play as he is willing to play. And even in that ODI position, if Surya Kumar Yadav is really struggling at number four, with too many overs to play for, I think you can probably promote a Hardik Pandya at number four even, because I think over the years Hardik Pandya has looked more sort of a number three, number four batter, because I'm quite confident even in the IPL he's going to come in at number three again for Gujarat Titans. So
Hmm.
you can have a Hardik Pandya coming in at number four, trying to anchor the innings. At five, there is KL Rahul. So you can have Surya Kumar Yadav coming in at number six and ask him to finish the innings for you. Because
Yeah.
India does not have a proper finisher in T20 internationals. That was the problem for Team India. Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, all were struggling to sort of finish the game. Hardik Pandya tries to take the game too deep in T20 internationals, and I think that has been one of the causes of concern for Team India, that there is no run rate in the first 15 overs for them to set a platform and excel. And I think Surya Kumar Yadav will be a great fit for the team at number six.
Absolutely, and I think that is seriously a concern as well, because I personally think when you have Jadeja at number seven, that in itself is proper seven batters in your lineup. Because Hardik Pandya bats anywhere in the IPL team. Jadeja is a middle order, proper middle order bat in the T20 format. I think he can bat number five to number seven or number four if need be as well, because he bats number five for Team India in Test matches. So I don't think that stops him from batting anywhere in top five, top six, even in the one day format. I don't number seven is a little too late for him, but I still think that gives India enough cushion to play with seven ballers and seven batters and four proper bowlers. And I don't think you need that cushion and number, because ultimately in one day format these days, it's the wickets which win you matches, isn't it? Ultimately, if you can pick up wickets in the middle overs. Now, if you have Umran and Kuldeep bowling in the middle overs, that really gives a little bit of variety for Team India. You have an express fast bowler and you have a wicket-taking spinner in Kuldeep Yadav. Now, Kuldeep Yadav is your preferred option for sure, isn't it? I think he should be the starter even in the World Cup ahead of Chahal, you reckon?
Yeah, I think given the current form, I think he should be a starter, and it will be a shame if you leave out Kuldeep Yadav from the squad. And I was also seeing a comment from Teju where he was asking about Washington Sundar. I think with Jadeja coming back into the side, and you have a spinner who spins the ball in the term of in the form of Kuldeep Yadav, I don't see Washington Sundar finding a place in the side with Jadeja coming in. And that's the reason why even a player like Akshar Patel won't find a place in the ODI squad if Jadeja is there, because unlike test matches, you don't need a condition where you need batters at number nine, a player who can bat at number eight, nine. If it is there, it's an added advantage. You
Yeah.
had the England side in 2015, sorry, 2019 World Cup, which had batting till number 11. But it's an
Hmm.
added luxury that you can afford to have. But
Yeah.
I think something which you can't do without is a bowler who picks up wickets in the middle overs. And I
Hmm.
think Umran Malik and Kuldeep Yadav, given the current form, Umran Malik just because of the talent that he has and the pace that he bowls in.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you remember right after the 2019 World Cup, I think till 2020, I think after the COVID at least, we did have a period where we were unable to pick up wickets in the power play and also in the middle overs. If you remember that series which India toured New Zealand in 2020, earlier 2020, and later in 2020 where India toured Australia, India got battered in both of these series primarily because of two reasons: inability to pick up wickets up front with the ball, and also inability to pick up wickets through the middle. And that was one of the factors why you really felt you needed a Kuldeep Yadav Chahal pair to be back, or you needed some variety in the middle overs. Because ultimately, in 50 overs, wickets is the only decisive factor which is going to win you games. Because if you're going to let two batters to bat 50 overs, they are going to score 350 or next to 350, regardless of whatever rubbish you ball to them. Or even if you ball really well, runs are going to come at some stage.
yeah, because the tracks in India with the like relatively smaller boundaries, it's easy to score more amount of runs. And we saw in the last 2 months as well, in the series against New Zealand and Sri Lanka, India went on to score in excess of 350 with ease. And you had openers coming in and scoring double centuries for
Hmm.
fun. So the point I feel that I did not know why India diverted from the Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal duo combination, because I think at that point, especially when you're playing at home, I think when you're
Yeah.
playing outside the subcontinent, if you're playing in England and Australia, things are different. Then
Hmm.
probably go in with one spinner and a spinning all rounder. But if you're playing at home, I think with the conditions, I think both Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav would have been a great and a potent threat for opposition. And I did not really understand why. Okay, with the injuries, Kuldeep Yadav was dropped, but then
Yeah.
Chahal also his form dipped, and right now I
Hmm.
think Chahal won't get a place in the team. Kuldeep Yadav should be our number one spinner right now. proper spinner.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there is a reason why Chahal is not the preferred option. That's also because Chahal's form in the one-day format has been quite bad for some time now. If you remember the last time around, he really made an impact. It was way back in 2019, or in the last IPL rather. It also has to do a lot with Indian team being very unclear as to what his role in the team is. You reckon?
Yeah, I think so, and I also feel that he has become a more defensive sort of a bowler. I think with more wickets, I think this confidence will come. Even Kuldeep Yadav had a phase when he was playing for KKR towards the later half. I think 2018, 2019, when Varun Chakravarti was 2019 or 2020, when Varun Chakravarti became the lead spinner for KKR. Kuldeep Yadav started to dip in confidence because he was not getting those wickets. He was not no more a mystery for the opposition, and then you could see that he was bowling some defensive lines. He was bowling lot flatter, and that is not something what Kuldeep Yadav excels in. And similar with Chahal as well. Once after the right after the IPL, once the batter started to target him, once he went wicketless for a couple of games, you could
Hmm.
see that he was dragging the length outside. We have spoken about it at length. Why, like how Yuzvendra Chahal is really bowling it outside the off stump and not giving it air, not trying to deceive the batsman in slide, rather bowling a defensive line. And I think that can work only on certain days. You need to be your natural aggressive self, and I think
Yeah,
that
I
will
mean,
come
I
once you
think
get
Sharad's
wickets.
point is very pertinent over here because I personally felt one of the reasons why you could play Kuldeep and Chahal was having Hardik Pandya as your fifth bowler. Now, with Hardik Pandya's injuries and with a lot of things concerning Hardik Pandya, you can't put a lot of load on Hardik Pandya to be a fifth bowler. And even in the World Cup of 2019 or leading into the 2019 World Cup, one issue which we had was a sixth bowling option. We were forced to play a Kedar Jadhav as a sixth bowler just because he could roll his arm over for some time at least. Now that Hardik Pandya is your sixth bowler, you need to have Jadeja as your seventh, as your fifth proper bowler. Now, in that regards, until and unless you're playing on a track which turns drastically, I don't see Kuldeep and Chahal playing together.
No, yeah, I think Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal is a combination that would have been ideal for Team India come 2020, 2021, the time when they were broken, probably because of Kuldeep Yadav's injury back then. But having said that, right now, you don't have a place, not just for Chahal. I think you don't have a place for Akshar Patel. You don't have a place for Ashwin. You don't have a place
Washington
for
Sundar.
Washington Sundar because, or probably even a Shahbaz Ahmed because with Jadeja coming in, you have that fifth bowling option, and also you
Yeah,
have a batter like he
yeah.
mentioned, the emergence of Jadeja as the batter. I think Jadeja, the batter, has emerged more in the test format, where
Mm.
he takes some time to settle down and then goes after the bowling. Even in T20s, if you see, right now, Jadeja prefers to sort of settle himself down and then go take the attack on the bowlers. He's a
I mean,
much.
I was just looking at the squad, Sandipani, and I felt
Yeah.
this is possibly India's only squad which I've seen in the recent past with most number of all rounders. We have all the all rounders in the country in that squad. We have Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, and Hardik Pandya being a part of that squad. And to add to that, we have seven bowlers. We have Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Umran Malik, Yuzvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav. That's a long list of bowlers and all rounders who can do both the facets quite well. Now that's where I personally think this is a tough selection choice. Until unless conditions really favor one set of bowling, I don't see a lot of spinners being a part of this team because you want to be focusing with three pacers. Ultimately, you need three pacers. Until unless you're going to play in Chennai, of course, you're going to be playing. I think one of the matches in Chennai, and if the pitch is not going to turn there as well, I think you still have to go with three proper pace. I know you can play Hardik Pandya as your third pacer in conditions like that, but still, you need that option where you are going to go with three paces, three proper paces, Shami, Umran, and Siraj, because that is the more potent bowling attack. And to also add to that, do you reckon Washington Sundar makes it to the World Cup squad ultimately ahead of Akshar Patel?
I think so. I think so. Washington Sundar is going to make the World Cup squad ahead of Akshar Patel, but I think, but it will also depend on Akshar Patel's form because he has been in red hot form in all the formats like Shubman Gill. He scored that brilliant 60 odd runs against West Indies that won us the game in West Indies where we needed around 100 runs of the last 10 overs. And from then, I think he had a dip in form in the T20 World Cups.
Yeah.
He was absolutely a misfit in that team. And
Mm,
after that, I think once again, Akshar Patel has grown as a batter. Akshar Patel's trajectory has been similar to that of Jadeja's.
yeah.
Initially, he was a bowling all rounder, but right now I think Jadeja is, you can even call Jadeja a batting all rounder with an average of in excess of
Yeah, I
30.
think Sharath is right in saying that emergence of Jadeja, the batter, has really favored India to go with Jadeja as a full-time all-rounder, and that's been phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's been
Jadeja's
phenomenal. Yeah.
rise has been exceptional in all three formats. Why are we just picking up Test or one day? I think even T20. I remember one of some of the knocks which he played in the recent past has been exceptional, especially in that Asia Cup. Now talking about one of the innings where he was subbed off later on as a concussion sub. That knock he played 60 odd runs there as well.
Yeah, against
So
Australia, I guess.
against Australia as well. I think it was in Canberra, if I remember. So these instances have actually repeated, way too many times to call Jadeja now a proper all rounder for any format of the game, and that's where I think Jadeja can be used as a floater as well. Now, if you look at India's if you look at India's batting order, you barely have left-handers in that batting order, considering no Rishabh Pant as well. Maybe on occasions, Jadeja can be used as a tactical player to be pushed up the order at number five, number four sometimes, you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is no harm, and it is going to be a
And that's
very
going to
good
be really
tactical
interesting, isn't
call.
it? Yeah,
Yeah, because you just have Ishan Kishan in the absence of Rohit Sharma. I think the only left-hander batter who is going to play is Ishan Kishan, who is going to open the innings. So if India wants in matches where both Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli plays, so you'll have Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, and then you can probably send in a Ravindra Jadeja at number four, and I think he'll perfectly fit the role because Jadeja and Hardik Pandya over the years they have looked a more assured batter. They look to sort of stay in the crease and bite some time before going after the bowlers. And I think that is a very good strategy. 50 overs is a long time,
yeah.
and more often than not, if India loses a couple of wickets early on, I think
Mm,
you can definitely send in a Jadeja at number four because
yeah.
especially because Jadeja was being sent in ahead of Shreyas Iyer in the Test matches. Not just in the last one where Shreyas Iyer was injured, but also in the third Test as well. You had Jadeja coming in
Mm.
at number five. So you can
Yeah,
definitely have Jadeja in at number five, but with KL Rahul in the team, I doubt that.
I have another option as well. Maybe this batting order could be India's preferred batting order for this one day series at least. We will talk about Australia in some time, but before that, I think on occasions you can maybe play Raquel Rao as your number four. Surya Kumar Yadav could be better fit as a finisher for this one day team, is what I
Definitely.
believe, because he has done that job for Mumbai for far too many years to not to consider
And
him as
then
a
before
finisher.
that, I think for Mumbai Indians, he was still coming in at number three,
I'm just
number
talking
four
about
for
Mumbai,
cricket.
the Mumbai's
Yeah.
Mumbai, the state squad.
Okay. Yeah.
Whenever
Mumbai's
he's been given that,
and also for KKR, I think he used to come in at number seven for KKR. So he
yes,
knows how to finish the innings for this side.
he's got too many shots in the book to really not consider him as a finisher. And I think he's going to really fit in that finisher's role in this one day team more than anything else, because then you can bring that repertoire of his T20 batting into the one day format as well towards the latter end. Just
And
use this
also, I
field
think he
restriction.
can play his fearless brand of cricket. If you ask the Surya Kumar Yadav to come in at number four when 20-25 overs are still left in the innings, the way he'll go about it, rather than a Surya Kumar Yadav coming in with 10 to 12 overs left in the
Yeah.
left for Team India, I think that is going to be where Surya Kumar Yadav is going to be very dangerous, and he'll
Hmm.
be fearless. He will not look at his average and go like, well, my T20 average is 40.
Absolutely.
Why is my ODI average 20? So that is
Hmm.
something India will have to look beyond and try him as a finisher.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea at all. It's just my suggestion. If India tries that, I'll be extremely keen to see how that goes. Now let's shift to the other end. It's Australia. The team has undergone a lot of changes. Steve Smith will be leading this team as Pat Cummins is not yet back from his home. Uh, Condolences to his family for the loss which he has had to suffer. But now Steve Smith as a captain once again back in most of the formats, and he's been in very good form in the one day format. In the limited overs format, it's a new version of Steve Smith which you're getting to see a lot more assured when it comes to his pace, which is able to maintain through the middle overs, not consuming a lot of dot balls. And also at the same time, this Australian team with Travis Head and also David Warner opening, that this Australian team looks much more confident because a lot of all rounders are there in that squad. And at the same time, there's a lot of firepower towards the back end as well.
Yeah, and I think it is going to be Australia is going to be a serious contenders are going to be serious contenders for the World Cup as well. Even though we are playing in India, but most I think all the 11 players have the experience of playing in India in the IPL. So
Hmm.
you'll have this aggressive team with I think four or five all rounders in their bank.
Yeah,
Starting from Maxwell, you have Maxwell, Cameron Green, probably Mitchell Marsh, Ashton Agar, and probably you can also
yeah,
have Marcus Stoinis ahead of the World Cup as well. So
yeah.
I think it is going to be a very potent side with David Warner, Travis Head opening. And then stability comes in the form of Marnus Labuschagne and Steven Smith at number 3 and 4, whichever way they come to bat
Yeah.
at. So I think it's going to be a very important series for Australia as well, to look at how they can tackle, because unlike India, Australia are going to have limited opportunity of playing in India in ODIs. I think this is the only three
Mm,
games that they'll get, and probably two warm-up games before the World Cup. So
mm.
I think they have to capitalize on this and then take full toll of the opportunity that they are getting. And I think Steven Smith is a way better captain than Pat Cummins. I think Steven Smith, with more experience, has become more proactive,
At
and
least
I
I
think.
think Steve Smith is a better captain in the test format. I still have to figure out Steve Smith, the one day captain, because I've always felt he lacks a lot of tactical astuteness in the one day format in comparison to
But
test.
then
In
again,
test, he's a fantastic.
even in test matches, I felt right before the sandpaper gets scandal. I think Steven Smith, the captain before that before that series, and Steve Smith, the captain that we saw in the last series, it was completely different. And I think he was way more proactive with his bowling changes or field
Yeah.
settings, and he understood what the intent of the batsman might be. And I think
Hmm.
if he can bring that, if he can bring what he did for in the test matches for his side, if he can bring that in the ODI format, he's going to be a very good captain. And just talking about the talent that the Australian team has, he has plenty of options with the ball and with the bat as well. He can use numerous
Yeah.
floaters with the bat, and he has the option of 7 to 8 bowling options. So everything, all the cards are laid in front of Steven Smith, and I think he will use his resources better than what Pat Cummins could.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be very interesting to see how he goes about it when it comes to his business. But let's talk about Australia's middle order, because Glenn Maxwell is back after an injury, his first game after an injury, you can say. So there is Mitchell Marsh, who says he won't be able to ball for next 3 weeks. There's a Marcus Stoinis and also a Cam Green. There's a lot of options when it comes to all rounders in that top seven. You reckon Australia will go in with Mitchell Marsh ahead of Marcus Stoinis, or Marcus Stoinis will get the nod ahead? Because Alex Carey invariably takes one position in the top seven for sure. Now it's about Maxwell, Stoinis, Cam Green, Steve Smith, and Manus Labuschagne. Out of them, you have to leave out one.
No, I think you can go ahead with David Warner, Travis Head opener. Marnus Labuschagne, Steven Smith are going to play at number 3 and number 4, because if either of the two does not play, it will definitely impact the stability of the team, of the batting order. Then you can
Yeah,
probably have Glenn Maxwell or Mitchell Marsh at number 5, number 6 respectively. Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell. Then you can have Cameron Green, Alex Carey at number 8. Number 9, you can also have the likes of Zampa,
Alex Carey number
Hazelwood.
eight. That's very
Yeah, I
interesting that
feel
you.
with the I feel Alex Carey can come in at number 8, because you have the likes of Cameron Green, Maxwell ahead of you. And since we are playing in India, we saw Travis Head can come in and roll his arms for a couple of overs as
I know
well.
that's a lot of all-round options, but you still reckon that kind of maybe diverts the entire balance of this team to some extent, because you still want to have four proper bowlers ultimately, maybe in the likes of Ash Nagar, Zampa, and with two pacers, or maybe Josh Hazelwood, Mitchell Stark, and Patrick Cummins with three proper pacers. You need to have the Adam Zampa as well. That's been Australia's modus operandi forever now, and that's been a successful way they've operated over the years. So if you talk about 2015 World Cup as well, they've had success doing it. 2019 World Cup, they made to semi-final doing it, and it's been Australia's preferred bowling options. So I personally think Australia won't really tinker around with that bowling lineup, because that's made them successful over a period of time. And once Patrick Cummins comes back, Patrick Cummins take that captaincy position, and of course you can't leave out a Josh Hazelwood or Mitchell Stark because of their experience and what they bring into the table. And of course you have an eight spinner Adam Zampa. So that's what I personally think. um, Alex Carey maximum can bat in number seven, not below that. I know there's a lot of all rounders, but still, you need to have four proper ballers: number eight, number nine, number
But then
ten,
I
number
think
11.
if that is the case, I think they are going to leave out Marnus Labuschagne, because they are not going to compromise on one of the all rounders, is what I feel. Because I
You
think
reckon?
Hazelwood.
You reckon they'll leave out Marcus Labuschagne or one of the proper all rounders in Mitch Marsh or Marcus Jones? That's going to be an interesting choice, isn't it? Because most of the then it becomes a very
See,
one-dimensional batting attack.
you have to miss one of Mitchell Marsh or Marcus Stoinis either way, because you can only have, even if Marnus Labuschagne plays or misses out. If Marnus Labuschagne plays, that is, if he comes in at number 4, then you have the option of Maxwell at 5, Cameron Green at 6. So you have to
Yeah,
fit in a Mitchell Marsh or a Marcus Stoinis in place of Marnus
yeah.
Labuschagne. And if that is why I was considering Alex Curry at number 8, because if you want to have that extra batter in that team, then you can have Hazelwood, Mitchell Stark, Adam Zampa. Then you can have the likes of Cameron Green,
Mm.
Ben Maxwell, and probably Travis
But
Head.
in that case, you'll have to leave out one of your fast bowlers. So
Yeah,
that is a
in that
risk
case,
as
you'll have
well.
to leave
So
out one of your balls. And
so
since Pat Cummins is not here, I think they are going to go ahead with only two pacers and Cameron Green.
yeah.
So these will be the three fast bowling options for them.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what is the lineup they're going to bring up. I think that's about it from us for tonight. I think we've covered the first ODI and what it is going to be. We'll be back tomorrow evening to understand how the game has turned out to be, and we're also planning a certain watch alongs over the period of time. Of course, IPL is coming very soon, so IPL is going to be very exciting for all of you because there's going to be giveaways, there's going to be quizzes, there's going to be some exciting things lined up for you all, and also fantasy segment is going to be even evolved into a next level kind of performance and rewards as well. So stay tuned for Boom 11. Have the app downloaded in your mobile and also subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your friends and family so that we can come back and give you more of these exciting content day in and day out. So we've got some comments asking why are we looking tired. I think that's because I've been having exams and a lot of these things, so that's really,
And I've been having a lot of work, so we look
yeah.
tired because we are tired.
We are tired, genuinely. It's the back end of the season, right? We started way earlier in Asia Cup, no break at all, and it's just gone on now. We've had two World Cups in football and cricket. Then, of course, we've had a lot of footballing action,
And I
cricketing
think
action. Then
we'll have no breaks for the next 2 months as well with the IPL kicking in.
yeah, I mean, now the real season starts. So we'll
Yeah,
have no breaks from now on for real. Now it's 2 months of full on cricket, right? Full on cricket, two matches a day. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited because once you're covering sports, this tiredness really takes a backseat, and you're here to talk about what you really love talking about. So that's the best part. Thank you guys for joining. I know it's been a short live, but nonetheless, it was a pleasure taking all of your questions and understanding your thoughts. We'll be back tomorrow once again. Before that, have a good time, all of you.
hopefully with
Stay.
another Kohli century.
Hopefully. Yeah. 76 on the way, lads. Bye
Good
bye.
night, guys.